have you always been more like the mindset of questioning the status quo? Like, I know it says in your bio, you were born into a mystical family, which I'd really like to know what that means, but was your family training you in critical thinking and questioning authority from the get-go, or is that something you took on yourself along the way?
Probably on some level taking it on myself, but growing up, so I grew up, so there was a lot of teachers came over from the West. Yogananda was one of the first, and I think he came to America in the 30s,
Mhm.
which seems super groundbreaking. But then these teachers came by in the 60s. One of them was Swami Satchidananda.
Mhm.
So, and like if you watch Woodstock, he kind of opened the whole Woodstock ceremony with some chanting, some talks, and I I grew up with him. Like I was born, my dad got into yoga before I was born in New York City, was teaching it. And so there was no talk of, okay, it's our duty to be defiant against the sort of like insane narrative of just living a really unabundant, unfulfilled life full of toxic chemicals and fake shit.
Mhm.
It just was like, no, here's an alternative.
Mhm.
Nobody made a thing out of it. It was just like, no, this is the lifestyle we're going to choose, which is more alignment, spiritual practice. And so it was very reverent, very devotional. We had our own school. And I was very aware that we were working outside of the normal system. Yeah, my parents had a business. People owned houses or rented out. People had jobs, you know. Some people, even part of the community, they were volunteer firemen. They wanted to do good things, in the community. So my parents were hippies in the way that they weren't politically driven. It was just like, you know what, let's live a different lifestyle. And
Mhm.
one of these practices, spiritual devotion. So a lot of my conversations were more about consciousness, about God, about meditation. I had to learn all these different religious traditions. I met, spiritual and religious, heavy hitters from all over the world were coming, giving talks, things like that. So, and the big lens was world peace, which you never hear about anymore. Well, the only fucking thing you hear about is fucking plastic straws,
Oh,
right?
it
And then like your
was a
carbon
scam all the time.
and your carbon emissions. I'm like, wow, the whole talk of world peace and nuclear disarmament and like, hey, we've maybe as a collective human race, maybe we've evolved past this, and now all we have is division. The people that were like, those same people are probably like super pro like World War III right now, you know?
That's bizarre. But again, like as you say that, like my perspective is they don't even know what they are. They're just letting themselves be used by a larger machine. Their thinking is gone. Like that's my experience. It's like they're not there anymore. They're just doing what they're told to do. Do you see it differently?
Yeah, I mean, no, I totally agree, but it's odd to me. It's weird. Because my default upbringing was just sort of outside of that system. And then as as a teenager, I took my like what I learned as a kid, that gave me a foundation to be very open-minded to really finding what I felt like was my path.
Mhm.
And that was a lot of Western mystery tradition where it's really hard to find like a true adept, and all of that lined up. And that's also where I probably learned more critical thinking.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's like it's a quieter lifestyle. And
Mhm.
it's just like, the idea is there's the world and there's the muck and mire of the world that comes and goes. Politicians, world leaders, kings, queens, the boundaries of countries, they all come and go. You're an infinite cosmic soul and you're incarnated on this planet. You have a mission, and you have some true purpose and something to align to, and you have your spiritual work, and that's why you're here.
Mhm.
You want to waste all of your time getting caught in the thicket of all that insanity, that's probably not the best use of your incarnation. Oh, and by the way, there's like a lot of oppression and weird evil that runs through governments. And then that I started learning about like things like David Icke and UFOs and quote conspiracy theories now, like in for me it's like early 90s, and none of it was like you're gonna go, everyone's like you're gonna rabbit holing on a weird trip. I'm like, this is interesting stuff and it's a lot of food for thought. But when did you think all of a sudden governments were like these beneficent leaders for like your everybody's highest good and highest interest? I mean, that's just obvious if you like fifth grade history class.
Right. Right.
But I don't, but you know, but a lot of prophecies were revealed to me, and since COVID, and it seemed like a lot of them have come true. A lot is revealing, and it seems like in this past year, more and more people are like, "What the fuck is going on?" And yet, here we are, still buying into it. You know.
Thanks for tuning in, tribe. If you are finding any value whatsoever from my videos, I'm inviting you to feel into becoming a paid supporter on either my Patreon platform, my Locals platform, or Dare to Dream. Both. The path of the truth-telling journalist has gotten quite a bit crunchy over the past few years. The shadow banning and the censorship have really taken their toll. So your support allows me to keep on keeping on, to keep on making videos and sharing my content. So once again, if you are receiving any value from what I'm doing here, if you're digging my videos, if they make you smile, if they make you think, thank you for supporting me on Patreon, on Locals. Your support really, truly allows me to continue to do this.